Now I got my handy cheat sheet right here as it relates to the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 5a. The Pixel 5 is running on Gorilla Glass 6 with an all aluminum frame and an IP68 dust and water resistance. The screen comes in at 1080p by 2340, 90 hertz display. And now on the Pixel 5a, the Pixel 5a has Gorilla Glass 3 with an all aluminum frame and an IP67 water resistance and dust resistance as well. And that's a pretty big difference. And I'll talk about this in another video when I talk about the 5A versus the 4A 5G in terms of the IP rating. This screen is 1080 by 2400, 60 hertz display. Now both of these bad boys come in with the 765G. The Pixel 5 has 8 gigs of RAM, nice and snappy feeling overall. And the 4A 5G has 6 gigs of RAM, and both come with 128 gigs of storage on both. Both these cameras, I'm shooting on the rear-facing camera. Hopefully I'm actually in frame on both of these. Everything that you see and everything that you hear is all shot using just the devices themselves. I'm flipping back and forth between the audio of them both. And I gotta leave a comment below which one currently, right now, looks the best and sounds the best. I haven't checked it at all, and I'll probably check it in post to see which one I believe, and maybe I'll leave it up on the screen to see which one I think is the best. Now, both of these rear shooters have a 16 megapixel f.2 and a 12.2 megapixel f1.7 aperture, so you get that nice blurry background, and we're gonna take tons of photos in the videos out there just to see which one is quote unquote the best. Okay, now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's go straight into the heat of the day. The phone's directly in the sun. Everything that you see in here is shot directly on these devices. This is the stabilization that you can expect on both. Currently, I am shooting 4K, 30 frames a second on both of these bad boys, so you can see what that looks like. Let's take a look at this. Taking a look at my watch to see if it's still connected. Still says that we are connected, and I'm mostly in frame. I'm gonna zoom out to the wide angle on both of these so you can see what that's like. Both of these are now on the wide angle. Everything that you see visualization-wise, stabilization-wise is what I meant to say, is shot on the wide angle of both of these. So how does it look? What does it look and sound like? This is what, how's the sky look? I mean, I am literally in the heat of the day. The sun is directly above me. It is extremely harsh. So yeah, I mean, it's been a real barn burner here in Ohio. It's been really freaking hot. You can see behind me that the grass is extremely dead. So the brown that you see is actually the brown that's on there. So this is what the stabilization looks like. Now both of these have 1080p 30 frames per second on the Selfie Shooter. This is what the Selfie Shooter looks like between the 5A, 5G, and the Pixel 5. My goodness, look at the brown behind me. Now, I don't have the brightness all the way turned up on the 5A, but the brown that you see right here and then right here in the Pixel 5, God, the grass looks just god awful here in Ohio. She's just baking right now in the sun. So far, no heat warnings at all as it relates to the 5A as I've done these recordings. It's been about 2 to 3 minute chunks that I've recorded. So I haven't got any type of heat warning. Have been checking to see if that is a thing. This is what this is. I'm basically trying to put it through its paces to see if I can get a heat warning on either one of these devices as I shoot in any type of video stabilization mode. So now I'm back to the rear facing cameras, and I want to talk about the performance perspective. We know that there is a kind of heat apocalypse as it relates to the Pixel 5a 5G. Even talked about it in my 58-day review video where I had it at 4K 60, where it actually did have that heat warning. Now there's another one that pops up on the 5A, and it's related to not being able to take a picture, or the flash is disabled. You still have the ability to take the picture. I've experienced that particular one, but what always ends up happening for me is I close the camera app and then reopen it, and it goes away when I double tap the power button for that. I know my friend Adam and Dan have suffered greatly with their 5A 5Gs. I know their experience has been less than ideal, but for me, now that I've been recording all of this, and I believe it's still recording, 4K 30 frames a second in the back, literally in the heat of the day, it is really stinking hot out here. Now what I want to do is go shoot some photos and see if I can get that to pop up, but also because I want to see exactly what these two look like together and see which one might be quote unquote better. Well, I'm an idiot, so I actually had to reshoot this entire section about the performance and really the wrap up towards the tail end of which one I would get, mostly because I'm obviously using the rear facing camera on both of these. On the Pixel 5, when I recorded it outside, I had it on the selfie mode, so all of the footage that I had looked like this. From a performance perspective, both of these things chug right along, no problems at all. With that being said, let's talk about the performance really quickly. The performance from that perspective, since they both have the 765G, you're gonna get really similar performance, the 2 gigs of RAM difference between the 8 and the 6 with the Pixel 5 and the 5A, 5G respectively. Most people are not gonna notice it. I myself been playing Roblox with the kids, Golf Clash and things of that nature, and haven't had any issues or any chugging at all as it relates to a performance related issue. Now, I kind of talked about it in the video. I actually had the overheat warning because I was standing out in the middle of the blazing sun, and it's 95 degrees out right now. It is 4:04 p.m. when I'm recording this. It's 95 out. It was 91 when I was recording in the heat of the day. So needless to say, the Pixel 5 was actually the one that gave me the overheating warning, not the 5A 5G. That doesn't take away from the fact that I do believe that has a heating related issue. So that is something that you're going to want to keep your eyes on it. That is in a situation where you're doing 4K 60, or you're definitely in the heat of the day when you're snapping or doing anything related to video out there. But all that performance aside, let's talk about the battery life as well. The battery life on these two phones are great, but I've got to give the battery nod to the new 5A 5G because of the 4600 plus milliamp hour batteries that come in it. This thing simply is a battery champ. When they talk about all day battery, they are not joking, and the Pixel 5 is no slouch either as it relates to that. So that being said, from a performance perspective, if they're that close, battery life better definitely in the 5A 5G. Which one of these should you lend yourself to getting? Well, honestly, if you already have a Pixel 5, it is not something that you would want to upgrade to. I wouldn't consider this an upgrade because it's pretty darn close. Aluminum frame on both, 765G, already have 8 gigs of RAM, already have the same storage in 128, so I wouldn't go and buy a 5A 5G if you already have a Pixel 5. If you have the Pixel 4a and you really want to try out the 5G, I suppose you could give that a shot, but it's going to be pretty darn close, and I'll probably do a comparison video of the Pixel 4a versus the 5a, just so you can see what those are. That being said, my recommendation is if you already have a Pixel 5, I wouldn't make the upgrade to the 5a as well. If you're on like a 3A or anything like that, probably a 3A, but a 3XL or 4XL, I think I'm gonna hold out hope and go more towards the Pixel 6, Pixel 6 Pro that's actually in the fall. That's it, that's all I have. As always, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment below. We'll see you next time.